We started 2.5 years ago to develop something what we call robotic kitchen assistants to really support traditional hospitality businesses, that they can focus more on the guest experience again, that they can manage to provide healthy, freshly cooked food to a large variety of clients. And there's a big problem in the industry as of now. I can't see my slides. Yeah, I know what's on the slide. I will just keep talking. So that's what we have, since we are from Germany. It's true for Germany, but I think in general it's true for the whole Western world. There's a significant labor shortage, especially when it comes to the world of hospitality and food preparation in general, because it's not an industry where people are very eager to join into and then make their career in it. Besides, when they want to start the Michelin star kitchens, but that's not relevant for the daily consumption of food. On the other hand, when we look at the trend, how people change their eating behavior, people want to become much more flexible when it comes to time when they want to eat, but also what they want to eat. Like, for example, since COVID, many people started with plant-based diets, vegetarian diets. People became much more aware of what they are consuming, and there's a huge mismatch of what the industry currently can handle, and then on the other side, like what restaurants can currently offer, because the staff is missing to execute it on a constant level. So we started, as I mentioned, 2.5 years ago, and we always have in focus that this device or this system is a tool for chefs and hospitality operators, where they can bring their own culinary ideas and their own culinary concepts onto the system, and the system is able to replicate the tedious work, the repetitive work, by, for example, using sensors and robotics, that you can offer the freshly cooked food around the clock. I had the issue, my flight was cancelled when I was coming here. I was arriving at 11 p.m. in the hotel, and I couldn't get something freshly cooked. And there I was also wishing that there could be solutions for that. That in the future, no matter when you arrive at a hotel, no matter where you are, you always have the chance to have something of high quality, which is also healthy for you. So how it looks. The process works the following. The chef puts his recipes, and I will show later how that works, into the system. And then what you have to do on site is only restocking ingredients when the system wants you, hey, the tomatoes are empty. So what you have to do then is you go to the compartment, you pull out the tomatoes, you take off the empty container, put on the full one again, and the system will be able to continuously produce food. And as you see, the robot is then going to each individual compartment where the ingredients are stored, and their scales are integrated. So it measures every ingredient which is relevant for the cooking process. So chefs have a very good control, even better than in manual kitchens, on how much is actually going into the dish. And also the parameterization of the cooking process is much more accurate, right? So you just cook it on power 8 of 10 for 60 seconds. And then at the end, the robot will fill it in either a one-way or multi-purpose bowl. By the end of the year, we will also launch plates, and then the robot can do the plating, and after the cooking process even cleans the pots. So one robot can continuously produce 23 hours a day and produce 3,000 meals with only one person next to it who restocks when the system gives the warning that it's empty. We decided very early, and that's also in line with the statement that we always see it as a device which can be used for various kind of culinary concepts, that we decided to go for a modular setup. What that means for us is every module is 1.50 meter wide, 80 centimeters deep, and the storage module, for example, is for storing and portioning of the ingredients, the cooking zones for cooking and mixing, the topping station is for the plating, the serving module is for filling the food food in either a one-way or multi-purpose bowl. There we have 2 output stations where the robot will give out the finished meal to either an operator or the guest, and a washing street. And these modules can be configured in different layouts depending on the culinary needs of the operator. By the end of the year, we will also launch our oven module, which means that even the culinary diversity you can offer with the system can be adapted over time. So in the future, it's like configuring a car. You will say, hey, I want to offer pasta, ramen, and pasta concept, right? And then basically we will give you all the modules you need so you can offer these kind of F&B services. One of the important factors here as well is that we partnered up with traditional kitchen appliance manufacturers, meaning there are standard kitchen devices in the system and we are remotely controlling them. And that's in general, we are currently 55 people working in this company, 30 of them working in software. And that's in general our main focus, that we remotely control these devices and also the robots, that they are able to perform these cooking processes on the highest quality level. And also the robotic arms, for example, are off-the-shelf components which we just purchase and integrate them into these housings. And in general, the whole scheduling and execution software architecture is our key focus on what we develop. So we decided, after 9 months, as I mentioned, we are 2.5 years old, to open up a restaurant which was a pure delivery kitchen, meaning a ghost kitchen, and no one knew that the robot is cooking. So what we did was we built a brand which was called From Umami with Love. We had like a heart as a logo. It was very pink and green. We had a tiger which we let travel throughout Asia. So we made comics for this brand. And it was an Asian fusion food concept. So we had ramen, pho, udon noodle stir fries, rice stir fries. And it was a culinary journey throughout Asia. And our dishes were called, for example, Tuk Tuk Pad Thai or Late Night Tokyo. So we put a lot of effort that people wouldn't realize that we are a tech company, but they are thinking, oh, this is a cool restaurant, I like to order here. And we wanted to make the proof that the quality of the food that we are serving with the system is so good that, yeah, it doesn't matter whether a machine cooked it or not. Because probably also in the audience, some people will say, oh, maybe it's cool that robots are cooking. Other people might think, oh, it's a horrible trend, I don't want it to happen. And this is why we wanted to take out the bias to really show the quality of the cooking process can be performed very well. And yeah, we were quite surprised. We even won an award from this delivery platform. Here it might be called Just Eat Takeaway, I'm not sure. But yeah, we were elected as one of the top 15% best delivery restaurants in Germany. So the proof went quite well. And also what we really liked, we had a 35% recurring customer rate, which ordered every week. So what we also did was, we had a customer, for example, called Sheila, and she ordered 13 times in a row, and we every time gave her a handwritten card. Because our operator, who was a student, he had suddenly the time when he was operating the restaurant to really focus on the guest, because he had not much to do. The robot was doing the cooking, he only had to pack the bags, and then he was writing handwritten cards like, hey Sheila, thank you that you ordered for the 13th time. We are very glad that you are our customer. See you next week. And that's also what helped to get the good ratings. And this also shows what we really try to accomplish with this kind of system, that hospitality can be more focused on the guest again, and also that healthy food can be something that becomes scalable. So, what are now the advantages and numbers when you use these kind of systems? We had an evening event where we had 400 guests, and what we did was the robot had only produced the side dishes, meaning the potatoes and the vegetables, and we had in the front live cooking area someone who cooked steak. And then what he did was he was cooking the steak and in parallel taking the sides from the robot, and he was able to give out 400 dishes in 1 hour. So that was quite good. We compared this to when 2 chefs were doing it manually instead of 1 chef with the robot, and they were only able to produce 100 meals per hour. And that's why we always now, instead of saying, hey, you can save 80% labor cost, we try to phrase it a little bit more positive, that we say, hey, your employees, they become 4 times more productive when you have the system. Oh, okay. I thought there's an animation, but then I go through it point by point. The nice aspect with this robot now is it can cook autonomously, meaning the instance what I explained for yesterday, where I arrived very late at the hotel, the robot can cook the food autonomously and no one has to be there. So I could have ordered my food, taken it out myself, and then eat it in my room. So you can achieve a 23/7 availability. 23/7 is because you have 1 hour downtime to clean the robot once a day, but otherwise the system can continuously produce as long as you restock. The nice aspect is that since we have the scales integrated, the robot is always performing the same quality in the cooking process, and also you reduce drastically the food waste, because compared to traditional kitchens where people use sometimes more or less, the robot always accurately measures. So over time, we realized that for different kind of scenarios, it makes sense that we offer right away different kind of configurations which cater really different needs in the industry. So when you now see our large robot, it's the one you also see in the video. Besides that, in the future, we will only have the locker box module, meaning with this robot, the guests can order either via their phone or a self-order terminal, and then they can go to the robot and pick out their food themselves after the pickup screen showed, hey, number 317 is ready. I just go there, I scan my QR code, the box opens, and you don't even need service staff to offer the food. These kind of robots we are currently positioning in airports, because there people don't really care about the service anymore so much. They are more, the full service variant of the robot. And in contrast to that, we have also a compact version, which is shown here. It's much smaller. It's only an assisting system, meaning this robot doesn't do the finishing, this robot doesn't do the serving to the guest. As you see, it only has a countertop, but this also gives you the ultimate flexibility in the serving process, meaning you could either design it conceptually like a Chipotle, where you have like in the front of you your toppings, and in the back the robot, and the robot serves you the perfectly cooked pasta dish, and then you can even interact with the guest, right? You can say, hey, do you want the vegan or the non-vegan parmesan on top? And this is where you have also, when I talked about the event, you could even do things like the robot serves the pasta, you can put a fresh burrata on top and some beef stripes, and then you have this interaction between human and machine, which gives you also unlimited culinary possibilities. The third case, what we also identified, was basically the hotel case, or also production sites, right? When you talk about corporate catering businesses, or also hospitals where we are active. This hybrid robot, it can be switched between the two modes I just illustrated. So when you talk about late arrivals at the hotel, this robot can cook the full dish, do the toppings, and serve the food over the locker box. But when you want to do the event catering part of it, you can just put it on the manual countertop mode, and then the robot produces via the countertop, and you can do the finishing yourself. So yeah, this is, as I mentioned, in a hospital right now, and also in the e-charger infrastructure park. And basically everywhere where you have peak rush hours, and then on the side also the lower volume times, this system usually makes sense. So, as I mentioned, most of our people are working on the underlying software which enables chefs to bring their own recipes onto the system. And we truly believe that automation should always be something that supports people to even become more focused on the core of their profession, meaning culinary creatives, they love to design dishes. They love to be there for their guest, right? But they don't like to cook 200 times arrabbiata in a row. And this is why we focus so much on our no-coding interface, which chefs can use to bring dishes onto the system themselves. We have also some other tools connected, but I only go deep into the system where we can design dishes. And it starts always with putting ingredients onto the system. We have the testing routines where the system automatically, when you want to put an ingredient in there which is not known to us, guides you through the process of bringing it onto it. And also what's very nice is we connect with databases where we give you right away feedback. If you have a tomato from Spain, what is the average nutrients of them? So we support you by integration with other software tools that when you design a dish, you already get very new information, which help you then making the process much easier, and you can create way new customer experiences. Second step, you create your own recipes, and this is what I will showcase you in the video in 1 second. Then the third case is that you, out of your recipes that you have created, can design menus. So that's the offering you can have for a robot. When you are wondering how many different dishes can I offer in parallel with one robot, we designed a configuration of the robot where you can have 30 dishes offered in parallel. And what we offered was a pasta concept, an Asian fusion concept with 10 dishes, and in parallel to that, a Levante concept where we also had 10 dishes. So you also are able to offer a very large variety of different food items out of one kitchen. Yes, I will go to the video now so you can see how it works, how our chefs work with the system totally by themselves. So they only have to choose out of the database which ingredient they want to use, and then they can say, hey, of the broccoli mix, I want 20 grams. And then they can even specify, is it an add-on? Is it a removable? So they can give the guest the chance to also remove ingredients. Cilantro is always a good example. Some people love it, some people hate it. So there you can allow your guest to say, I want it without cilantro, and then the robot will never miss it. Afterwards, you saw you can put in a cooking step. You just say, hey, power 8 of 10 for 60 seconds. And that's how easy you can build your own recipes if you are experienced and worked with the system a little bit. We had the luck that we were also able to work with the 2 Michelin star chef. He designed a concept for the robot, which is now in 2 weeks going live in a city in Germany. And he also has the ambition to scale his concept and offer it like a McDonald's franchise to other operators, right? So as you see with this robot, suddenly there become much new possibilities, also how the industry work as it is, because this 2 Michelin star chef would otherwise never be able to build a scalable concept, because he would always need very skilled chefs to perform his cooking routines. And with this robot, suddenly he dares to build such a concept and then wants to scale it via different use cases. So I just mentioned it briefly. I will elaborate a little bit. With the robot, you suddenly also have the chance to offer your guests that they can choose how salty they want to have the dish. A low salt level, medium salt level, high salt level. Do they want it less spicy, middle spicy, very spicy? This is things you can customize, and the robot, since it has the scales integrated, can adjust the portionings of the ingredients accordingly. And this is something that usually, if you are in a traditional restaurant and you are performing like traditional cooking steps, that what you would never be able to offer your guests. On the other hand, as I mentioned, we are connecting to databases where you also can show your client, when he orders a dish, what is the micronutrients, what's the macronutrients, and what is the CO2 footprint of the dish. Also, what's very nice, when you order a dish, we will always be able to show you how long it takes until your dish is ready. So when you pre-order something for 2 p.m., you can be sure that it will be always done on time and you don't have to wait in the queue. Let's skip this one. yeah, where does it make sense? I elaborated a little bit before on some of the use cases, but what you can always say is a robot makes sense when you let it produce a lot. So these machines come usually from the automotive industry. I'm from the aerospace industry. That's where I initially started my work career. And there these robotic arms are working continuously. So also what we are looking for is for cases usually where you are offering food around the clock, or that you are a smart business person and that you make basically in the off times deals with other instances. Like for example, I'm a traditional restaurant and I never did delivery, but with the robot suddenly I will decide that I say, hey, after 6 p.m. I offer a delivery as well, just so I get more load onto the system. But also what you can do is you can do a contract with the school which is in your proximity, and then at 3 a.m. you can start letting the robot produce the dishes, and then you bring it as a catering service over to the school so they can also offer freshly cooked food to the children there. So that's usually how we see that the market is evolving, and that's also the interesting aspect what we see with our clients. They really now change the way how they think about a restaurant. They don't think just, hey, I have to offer food from 6 to 9 and that's it. They think now, how can I offer and produce food around the clock? And that's a big game changer for the industry. So now I want to elaborate a little bit on what the robot can currently cook. And as I mentioned already, in the future we will offer also different cooking modalities. But we can offer a large variety of dishes, starting with breakfast offerings, which are porridges. We have scrambled egg variations. We have smoothie bowls. We have desserts like Kaiserschmarrn, yogurt bowls. These are all things the robot can produce. Also what we have for lunch offering, we have various Italian dishes, different kind of penne. We have different kind of rice dishes. Salads are possible with the system. You can assemble bowls. Also, yeah, different kind of chicken dishes or stews are also possible. And also for dinner, an offering, what we also have is things like minestrone, potato with meatballs. So as you can see, there's a large variety of food that you can offer. And also the nice thing is you can switch the concepts throughout the day very easily. So it doesn't mean that the robot always offers these dishes in parallel, but I can always say, hey, in the morning I have a breakfast offering which offers 6 different dishes. For lunch I will change it for a lunch offering, and then for dinner I change it to a dinner offering. And this is all possible within one system where you never have to worry whether the staff will be capable of doing that or not, because the system will always execute the processes in the same way. So I was a little bit faster than what I had in time, but our focus is always that we focus on freshly cooked food in the use cases we usually tend to, and also that with this kind of system we are able to provide more healthy food option in a scalable manner. Because right now when you look at the landscape, concepts like McDonald's or KFC, they even after Corona had a very strong time because they are not struggling so much when people leave the industry. It's very easy to execute like the cooking processes what they have, and we want now to give chefs which want to make more complex concepts which are more focused on health a tool where they can then also offer this food in a scalable way similar to McDonald's. So yeah, I'm done already. Thank you very much.